Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's Facebook Live, where we are talking about this whole context of, how much time, energy, and resource you're putting in to your work on a daily basis. And when we talk about this, we often talk about this piece around, we're doing everything to a 12 or a 15 out of 10. What level of energy are you putting in? And often this plays out because you're working really hard, you're delivering, you're doing a really great job, and you're looking around and other people are perhaps delivering late, getting things wrong, missing deadlines, all of those sorts of things. You're like, what's going on? I'm delivering at this level, other people are delivering at that level. What's going on here?
Yeah, this is such a fascinating one. And it's so good to start to notice. And, that's the first piece, right? You're looking around and you're seeing what you're doing and you're seeing what other people are doing. And you get curious and you start to question, so what is the piece I'm contributing here? And am I over delivering? Am I actually someone who's going above and beyond to the point where it's actually a compromise on other things? That maybe there are things I'm missing out on. There's things I'm not getting to do because I'm so invested in ensuring I never make a mistake and nothing slips between the cracks and, nothing ever goes wrong. That when we've slid into perfectionism, that's a pretty good flag that actually we're doing more than is necessary.
Yeah, I think that piece around notice first is a really good first step. I think the next thing is to really look at what's really going on. Like for what purpose am I going the extra mile? For most of us, and I say high performing professional, and we'll just go, that's just what I do, right? That's just what I expect of myself. And so I think there's an important conversation here around not dropping our standards, because that's not the conversation we're having. But it's an important reflection to go, great, what's my motivation here, right? Am I trying to prove my value? Am I constantly trying to provide evidence to all of my stakeholders that I'm doing a great job? Am I trying to build credibility? What is it that means that actually I still feel like I need to do that? And of course, when we're new in a role, we're going to be doing that because we've got new stakeholders. But if you've been in a role for a period of time, on some level, you should have that credibility. And if you don't, there's a whole different conversation to be having here. And I think the third one here is around not making mistakes, right? If we are delivering at, 12, 15 out of 10, then we're safeguarding ourselves of never getting anything wrong, of never failing. And whilst that's a really comfortable place to be, I think the important thing is the energy and time that we're giving to make sure to provide absolute certainty that that won't ever happen is absolutely outweighed. And I think the other thing that is really worth thinking about is, in general, if you are delivering 12, 15 out of 10, so above and beyond, most people don't expect that. And for most people, if you're like us, your 8 out of 10 is most people's 10 or 12 out of 10 anyway. So if you can recalibrate and bring it down a little bit, you're going to be kicking it out of the park anyway.
Yes. Yeah, this piece about right-sizing expectations and really honing in on what's actually the level that is necessary and useful and great to do, and where am I actually investing too much energy and time, maybe to protect myself, maybe to make sure that I don't have to ever experience failure, maybe to, we're overdoing it to the point that it's actually costing us something. And this is what we often see. We hear this all the time in workshops and focus groups and that sort of thing. Women saying, well, I was so busy doing this and I was so busy getting stuff done. I didn't have time to go to the lunch event. I didn't have time to go to the lunch and learn. I didn't get to the drinks after work. I didn't get to the social function. And what we know is that all of these things, your networks, building relationships, going to the town hall, hearing the CEO speak, all of those things are just as important. And if you're not making time for those, if you're filling up all the time with this over delivery, you're actually not attending to a really important part of your job. And it means that you're missing out in terms of some of the things you're striving to do, that build brand and profile. If people can't see you, if you're not being open, if you're not getting out and building relationships, that is going to compromise other parts of what you're trying to do in terms of develop your career.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think this piece, there's an opportunity cost of absolutely time and energy as well. So, that piece around building relationships. But there's opportunity cost personally and professionally. right? Because there's time we're spending delivering perfect that we could be spending and investing in self-care, family, relationships, whatever else you'd like to be doing. But there's also opportunity cost of time that we're spending delivering perfect that we could be spending on ourselves professionally. Exactly what you said, Fee, building relationships, building influence, building profile, getting access to some experience that will build my capability, that will help me achieve my or move me towards my next career progression opportunity. I think the other thing I really want to say here is, when we think about burnout, 12 out of 10 is unsustainable, and it's crazy if it's not needed. And so I think it takes courage and confidence to really start to lean into asking what is expected, and that in and of itself can feel like we should know the answer to that. But I think the assumption of that, we need to, have a bit of courage here and regularly kind of get a sense of, great, so what does a great job look like? I used to say to my CFO when he'd come in and ask me to do a little bit of analysis, and I'd say, great, so do you want it to the nearest million, 100,000, $50? Like, what level of accuracy do you want? Because that's going to influence whether it takes me 3 days or 1 hour. And if you're not in the finance world, you might think that's a weird kind of thing to ask. But what I'm really saying is, what level of accuracy do you want, so I can deliver what you need, not what I think you need?
Yeah, that calibration piece is so important, and the sense making. And, yes, it can feel uncomfortable to ask that, but actually it's a really good question, and it's really good for the organization. It's good for you to know what really is needed here, to get clear on that, so that you're not investing, maybe double the time that's really required. And then you've got time for other things and other important parts of your life, as well as, maybe you can attend to some things in your career that you're not doing because you're feeling overwhelmed or possibly towards burnout.
Yeah. So I think there's a challenge here for everyone, which is to really reflect on and spotlight, bring some awareness to perhaps where you feel like you are kicking it out of the park. Again, this isn't about lowering standards, but it is about right sizing and delivering to what is expected and required of the organization. So I think the challenge is to look at, perhaps today or this week, some of the things where you maybe are delivering at a 12, 15 out of 10. And just start to think, we know from experience, right, when we've kind of brought some of our delivery down, that actually it meets the needs of our stakeholders. Yeah. And so they're just as happy, and everything is okay. But actually, we've got a whole bunch of time back that we can invest in other areas as well. So if anything that that we've shared today resonated with you, you want to talk a little bit further about that, please send us a message. We can jump on a call and brainstorm what's going on for you, and build a plan in terms of what comes next. If you know anyone who could benefit from the conversation we've had today, or any of our confidence conversations, we'd love for you to tag them or share them, this video with them specifically. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week.